Hi, my name is Jill Haberman and I'm a volunteer editor with Dismas Ministries. I began working with Dismas Ministries when actually my husband met the director, Ron Zeiliger, and Ron mentioned that they were working on a book of poetry and writings by women and that they wanted a female editor for that. And my husband volunteered me and said, "Oh, Jill will do that." I already was working a full-time job and I thought, when am I going to have time to contact the 73 women's correctional facilities in this country and solicit writings from all these women? But I just kind of took a deep breath and decided that this was something to do. And it was such a rewarding experience that the interactions with the women and interacting with them about their writing and about their experiences just became beyond reward to me. It became blessing. The I Am Beautiful project for women began because just a little bit of research showed that most women that are incarcerated have suffered some form of abuse in their lifetime that is directly connected to the reason that they're incarcerated. This project is an outgrowth of the idea of wanting to help women heal and to provide a platform for them to share their stories and to read other people's stories so that they feel this commonality of that they're not alone in this experience. Initially, Dismas Ministry sent letters to the chaplains at all 73 women's correctional institutions in this country and asked them to post some flyers and to get the word out. And there was a little bit of a response, and then we sent a second notification out inviting people to write, and whenever any individual writes, I send a personal response giving them some positive feedback about their writing and encouraging them to continue to write and talking about the project a little bit more. So everyone who writes, and there were more than 50 women included in the book, gets personal feedback about their writing, which makes them very connected to the project. So when I came on board, Volume 1 had already been published and really well received by the women, and they were sort of really highly interested in writing a second volume, and so that's when I got involved. I Am Beautiful Volume 2 was the work that we took about a year to complete, and I just want to read the first poem in the book because it really gives an example of how strong and powerful their voices are. This is Singing Her Truth by Vicky. Joyful courage has arisen. She bursts forth in truth-filled song, which acknowledges her beauty, the distance she has traveled, the power she knows she possesses, the lesson she has learned. Life is not perfect and will be. The song is her personal journey, her choices, her opportunities lost and taken, her tragedies and triumphs. She will no longer let them have her believe she is wrong while they are always right. She has seen both sides now and knows there is truth for both, and each person from her perspective. She is singing her truth, celebrating her life and all that has been, all that she is, and all that she will be. I want to share a little excerpt from one of the letters that Dina, one of the writers in Volume 2, sent after she heard feedback from some of the other women writers. Many of the women here requested the books, and so many want to send in work. Your ministry did something for these women. It allowed them to hear a true voice. See, part of it is most prison papers have such editing and refusal letters that many don't feel heard. Mostly we have to talk nicely. Then there's the points of shame and guilt. But Dismas says it's okay to talk about pains, hurts, loss, and know there's hope and you'll heal. You are important and you don't have to be silent any longer. You don't have to keep other people's secrets. I personally love Dismas. So that was one excerpt from one person's letter, but there were a number of responses that women felt so heard in this project that they, first of all, they felt published and they had never had that experience before, but then they also felt this camaraderie with other women whose stories were similar to theirs, that they were shared, that there was a bond in that. Despite my initial reluctance to get involved with Dismas Ministry, this has been a real spiritual blessing for me in my life. My husband, Stephen, had worked for several years fighting against the death penalty in Texas, and we had continued to correspond with several of the men that he worked with, including James Beathard, someone who was executed despite his innocence. And so I had a connection to prison ministry. I just had never acted on it. And so this gave me a direct and personal connection that has just helped me to grow spiritually and with compassion and a sense of the respect for the dignity of all humans that was not as deep before working with these women.